Walking, standing, sitting, lying, all Zen. There's such a saying. In the other video, I mentioned about sitting on the beach. So I thought I should make a comment. It's not just sitting to do the meditation. People may call it the formal form. But as much as I'm lying on the hammock, you can still practice. So again, sitting, standing, walking, lying, any activity we are in, we can be awakened or practice meditation to remind us that we can be awakened at any moment. What I think is especially important is when a mind is upset or deluded, just to notice that. That's so critical. I need to do it multiple times, many times in a day. Just be quiet, like that. 1 second, 5 seconds. I may need to go back there to be quiet. And more time you have your mind quiet, whatever the situation you have in your mind is left alone. So it's kind of like a law of nature. And relating to the experience curve and forgetting curve, there's scientific evidence that if you keep doing what you do, you get good at it or develop the habit to be good at it. But if you don't use that, you don't continue that and stop, then like a memory start to kind of fade away exponentially. One is called experiential curve, that you develop skills. The other one is called forgetting curve, that exponentially you forget. So the words, if you want to remember, you have to repeat over and over, which I don't do it so often. But when you want to go over some difficulties and your mind confused, or you get into this trap that you cannot get out, as soon as you notice that somewhere in your body there's a way that you can notice if you are sensitive, and that's the reason for the meditation, to cultivate such a skill. And you practice it, then the mind becomes calm when you find yourself deluded or upset or anger or avoiding something or thinking of something stupid. We can do a lot to be awake and hopefully be wise and compassionate by stopping unnecessary, wasteful time and energy consuming things. But sometimes it's necessary, so you may accept that just to get things done, if that's the thing to do. So it's a dynamic process of continuously kind of aligning ourselves so that we are in tune to what is needed at the time. The mind is to be calm and quiet, connect to the root. And when you use our mind, as you see it necessary, then make sure that the connection still is maintained, instead of the mind flying away on its own to somewhere, which may be found as fun for some people. Maybe I do too. Just go into the imaginary world or something. But awakening or being aware of the situation is to know what's going on continuously. So, Joriki, steady power. We want to have a connection to the root because that's the source of our being, life. When we don't think, we are still alive. When we think, we can be connected to that source of who we are. So it's like a tree with a root. If there's no root connected, then the tree may not live long. Our thought is not everything. If you are lost in thought, that's lost in thought. You lose awareness, the state of being. And be awakened, or bring out the wisdom and compassion. So, standing, walking, sitting, laying down, whatever the position, be aware. The easiest way to be aware is, well, you can just sit and meditate, or just notice you are deluded. Then you can stop that thinking. And if you restart that thinking because something is still bothering, okay, you may dig into it, but then again, stop it. Then you may have a connection to your heart, the core of our being. And be aware what's going on, what to do. It takes practice. We had it before, but as soon as we start to learn language, words and logic, do this, do that, right and wrong, right, that operating system that we developed in our mind may start to function on its own without the root where the energy of life is to be connected. So don't let the thought go wild, too much, too far away, off from the ground, off from the root. Then you are in the deluded state. Your awakening awareness is gone. It may be counterintuitive to be quiet, because that's a habitual pattern that you may have developed. It may be fun to be just maximizing to use your brain, like AI may try to do that, faster, and rational. But if you live only in that space without connecting to the root, you're like a machine, like an AI. You are not the machine. You have a component function of machine-like thing going on, but you are alive. If we lose aliveness and be a tool, not using the tool, but become a tool, like AI, let the AI do that. You use AI. Don't be deluded with AI in the nth degree of dimension of whatever to pursue for the sake of pursuing, like a mind left alone, going wild. I think that was Taichi Ono who talked about Toyota Production System, said something like management is like riding the horse. You don't want to go into the wrong direction with full speed, but manage perhaps every now and then to stop and look around and see everything is functioning instead of just going forward, more capability, more power plant to provide energy to think, and do this before someone compete. And you think that's the only game in town. Then you are the machine of playing that game of competition and lose the ground, the source of who we are. Some people may want to be like that, to prove something. And you may not listen to a bird. Anymore. And lose the awareness, become a machine. Be careful. So, standing, walking, sitting, laying down, practice then. I see a little lizard there, and the rooster coming this way, and the flies and trees. Everything is alive as I am. Here is the rooster. Have a good day. Sitting, walking, standing, laying down, talking, all Zen.